So, Microsoft 10 downloaded to my computer. I was skeptical, and rightfully so, because I don't have a video editor anymore. So we're gonna do this a little differently today. Probably, if ever we do it again, they will look like this. So let's just see if it works, and if it doesn't, then, you know, at least I tried.
This little girl of mine, I want you people to know. This little girl of mine, I take her everywhere I go. One day I looked at my shoe, the shoe was new. I looked at my shoes and they were new. And that's why,
Welcome to my review of The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson. Makes me happy. Alright, so this book was written by Rick Riordan in 2005, and of course, you know, you probably, if you haven't read the book, then you probably heard that there's a movie. If you've seen the movie, don't go by the movie. Don't think, oh, this is that. No. I've never seen the movie, but I've heard very, very bad things about it. And Logan Lerman is a beautiful, beautiful man, and I'm sure that he did his very best. But he's not 12. Percy Jackson's 12. Okay, so the book and the movie have nothing to do with each other. Rick wrote this apparently for his son. He used to tell bedtime stories about Percy Jackson too, and you can feel the connection to the characters, and you can tell this is kind of something that he spent a lot of time working on, as opposed to the latest book of Rick Riordan's I read. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's talk about my history with these. The Percy Jackson series is one of my favorites, hands down. And so, of course, I have read everything else that Rick Riordan has put out. And if you don't know anything about Percy Jackson, the whole mythology, and it's spawned, basically, it's a lot of books. Let's start with the premise of it. Percy Jackson is about, it takes place in America, modern day, but it's like about the Greek gods. And you're like, how is it about the Greek gods? That doesn't make any sense. It is about the Greek gods because it's like the Greek gods actually are still alive, and they never, like, died. They actually existed to begin with, and then they continue on now, today, and they live up in the Empire State Building. On the 600th floor of the Empire State Building. It's just so funny how he works with things like that in. So, the Greek gods are real, and they are here in modern-day America. Percy Jackson happens to be the son of one of these Greek gods, and, you know, it's going to let it slip, and I bet it says it on the back, too. It's Poseidon. And so, Percy Jackson goes to this camp for half-bloods, and, like, ends up going on this epic quest to save the universe, and we'll talk about how Rick Riordan does those kind of things a little later. But, anyway, these books, there are 5 of them, spawned a whole sort of subgenre that Rick himself entirely populates. And it is these books about gods, and if they were actually true, like, he's done Egyptian, and he's working on the Viking gods as well. And he has a whole nother set of books called The Heroes of Olympus. And I talk about this not because these are as wonderful as Percy Jackson is. I talk about this because this book in particular, the ending one, was the last of Rick Riordan's books that I read, and the ending just, it was terrible. I don't know that I can even recommend that whole series just because of that ending. It was awful. So So, I'd forgotten how good and deep and rich the original series was, and how Percy Jackson actually acted, and how he's this swaggering renegade kind of kid who's got this mouth on him, but he's secretly sweet. Like he's jaded, but he's actually kind of nice, but you don't see it. See, in the second series that I just finished, like, I don't know what happened, but Rick got all of his characters, and they just kind of muddled together. And because Percy Jackson, these books are all from Percy's point of view. It's first person perspective, and the second series was not. But they had like 7 different characters going, and they just all kind of muddled into one. So basically, you had like, the guys were just a little funnier than the girls, and then the girls over here, and they were all kind of goofy, and they were all kind of the same, and it was just frustrating. So, getting back to this was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so, let's talk about it. Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. It's so good. It's so good. You start off, you get to know Percy really well. That's the first thing that I appreciated. You don't get to Camp Half-Blood and find out about the whole mythology and about how Percy is the son of Poseidon. You don't find that out until 75 pages in. Like, he spends a good portion of his book just establishing who Percy is, and kind of his mindset and everything. You get to know his mom really well, which is important too, because she is the catalyst and the driving force for why he continues on the path that he does later. So his deftness is very good. I think that's something that's lacking in a lot of children's literature, the developing of the characters. A lot of times they spend so much time trying to get to the action that you don't really get to see the characters. And so he really lets that shine here, and it's really, really good. The mythology itself is very well thought out. The way that he explains everything is very, very well done. And a lot of people compare this for some reason to Harry Potter, and they say, oh, it's just a Greek Harry Potter. It's not really. Like, the fact that Percy and his friend Annabeth is wonderful, and Grover is extremely important as well, go on quests and go hunt down things. It's much more a part of the Greek mythology itself, because the heroes, and usually they were like 12, had to go fight all these things on their own because the gods are up there. The gods are jerks, man. The gods are up there just kind of like, oh, you gotta fix all our problems for us, and so the heroes were stuck cleaning up all their dirty work, and so that makes more sense to me than why the kids in Harry Potter ended up having to do everything. And just the people in Harry Potter are very different, and the way that it's said is very different. This is much more humorous. The humor in these books is excellent. It's very, how do I put this? It's very witty, and it uses a lot of things from real life and incorporates a lot of things. And so anyway, we get that as we go. He ends up having to go on this epic quest across the country to LA. LA is where Hades is in the underworld. And it's so funny. And so you get a lot of those things. You get to go to Las Vegas, and there's just these fun little side quests that they have to do, where you see all sorts of fun things. And so it's a really good book. I enjoy it. Any issues I have with it would be there is a little bit of a dump, there's an information dump in several places where it just doesn't really make sense for characters to be discussing things. Specifically, it was when Chiron, was trying to I don't know how you pronounce his name either, was trying to send them off and be like, go, and so anyway, So Percy is trying to get in the car, and Chiron's suddenly like, oh, by the way, let's talk about the Titans and how they're, I'm sure this is not going to factor in anytime soon, but let's just talk about them right before you leave. And we'll talk about, your dad, we'll talk about other things, just all right here before you're about to leave, just dump all this information on you. You're like, I wonder if that's going to be important. And we can talk about the ending a little bit. The ending is still stellar, and I look forward to getting to the end of the series altogether because it's very, very good. But anyway, for those of you who have not read the book, I won't give any spoilers until after. But there's a twist ending, and nothing is predictable anyway. And so it's just a really good book, and I enjoy it, and I hope that you guys go see it too. And wait, I must start music.
This new girl of mine makes me happy when I'm sad.
Oh my goodness. Talking points are, I wanted to know anyone who's read it, which is a lot of people actually. What did y'all think of the surprise ending? I'd also like to know if any of y'all have read the House of Olympus or whatever that dumb series is called. I'd like y'all's opinion on that since we're gonna be just talking about stuff anyway. Because I am not gonna include it on my list of must-reads. I own them all, and I really just want to know y'all's opinion on it because I am undecided. The first 3 books I feel the first 2 are really good. A lot of people like Mark of Athena. I'm on edge about that, and then the rest, the last 2 were. If y'all want me to talk about that sometime, I probably will. I'd just like to know y'all's opinion on it while we're here. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you later. Hopefully this was worth your time. It's so weird not being able to edit things. Bye!